Bottoms up.
Models Inc. tonight at 8:30.
And I saw my last name, Tewksbury, blink before any other last name on the scoreboard, which meant I'd won the race.
A Canadian sports hero lends a hand in a very special cause. The story tonight, live at 5.
Now, from the ATV News Center at every city and town in the Maritimes. This is the ATV Evening News, live at 5.
Good evening and welcome to Live at 5 for Monday, February 13th. I'm Nancy Regan.
And I'm Paul Meunier. Here's a look at some of the stories ATV reporters are working on for tonight's show.
Are the Navy's antics at sea growing up?
I'm not sure what that beam is in the middle of the screen, but I suspect it's probably aliens arriving on planet Earth.
He's
So
just
rather a
kidding,
large
folks.
development. No,
He's
I
just
guess that
kidding.
would just be, what do you call that, a reflection, camera lens thingamajig bob.
It's interesting.
I'd have to ask one of the technical guys, but it's a nice shot from our live eye. Yes, a very sunny day around the region. However, old man winter gave many parts of the Maritimes another blast of cold today. Steve Weagle, working on the weather forecast, will have that in detail. But first, let's look back.
That's right. Despite a sunny day in Miramichi, drifting snow and extremely cold temperatures forced schools to close their doors and many people to stay inside. ATV's Paul Greene has more.
It's nice to have.
What do you think of the cold weather today?
I think it's really cold, and I think it'd be terrible cold for young kids catching the bus and waiting for the buses. So it's probably a good idea they're not in school.
What do you think of the weather today when you got up this morning? Minus 40 wind chill.
Oh, it wasn't too bad. I didn't find it was too cold when I went out there.
Are you happy to have an indoor job on a day like this?
Oh, yes.
You would think with a wind chill of minus 40 that most people would stay home and just wait the cold out. But there's some people that actually enjoy it.
Heating cables sell extremely well on a day like today.
Some businesses are extremely happy with the cold weather because they see a rise in sales.
Usually it's the house plumbing is number one and car is number two on a day like today. They want to get their water pipe running in the house and they want their car started, so it's mobile.
So what's the soup of the day, Heather?
Today we have chili, hearty mixed vegetable, tomato Florentine, and clam chowder.
Okay, so probably be seeing all this gone by the end of the day.
Oh, probably by this afternoon.
What are sales like on a day like this?
When it's really cold like this, people come in and they really enjoy a hot cup of coffee.
What would you have for an increase of sales?
Oh, probably at least 15 to 20%.
As northern New Brunswick battled the harsh elements, so did Cape Breton. Schools in Sydney were closed as the wind chill kept around minus 40 for most of the day. In Miramichi, Paul Greene, ATV News.
Thanks, Paul. And we'd like to welcome Paul actually to our ATV team. He's our newest member and we're glad to have him here.
And say hello to him when you see him driving through the streets of Miramichi and surrounding areas. Here's another guy we want to say hello to, part of the family now, Steve Weagle, our meteorologist. Wow, what a weekend, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Very chilly out there, and it looks like it's going to continue for tonight, tomorrow, and we should see a little bit of a warming trend for Wednesday, but very chilly overnight. The good news, if any, is that the winds are going to die down overnight, and that's really the cause of the major problems during the day today. Very strong, very high wind chills, minus 30, minus 40, even up to minus 50 with the winds factored in today. Cold right across the country, in fact, and that's the way it's going to be tomorrow. Let's take a look at those temperatures tomorrow, and you can see really not many areas getting above minus 10 tomorrow, with the exception of southern Ontario and back out west through Vancouver. Most areas, especially the Maritimes, will see temperatures below minus 15 and very cold as you head northwards. What we're seeing is a cold Arctic airflow continue right across the country, and I don't see much of a change for the next 24 hours. Really, there's not much to talk about on the satellite photo. We have a weak ridge of high pressure just back to our west. That will give us sunshine for tomorrow and clear skies tonight. A little bit of a disturbance back through central Quebec. And I think what will happen is this will move to the north, but we will see a little bit of cloud tomorrow, and it could set off a flurry or two, especially where those winds blow on shore, and that would be through the Annapolis Valley and also through Cape Breton and Prince Edward Island tomorrow. Big system back up to our north, which pushed through on the weekend. Remember, Saturday we get some snow. Well, this system is now up in Newfoundland, but we're getting the cold air drawn in behind that system, and it looks like that's going to continue for the next 24 hours. Here's a close-up of the Maritimes, and you can see generally clear out there. We do have a little bit of flurry activity, especially through Yarmouth and also through Cape Breton and through Prince Edward Island. Really not much of a change in the last 24 hours. except that you can see the big low-pressure system just forming up over the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and it slides off quickly. You can see the rotation of that, and a lot of cold air being drawn down, and a little bit of a system just back to our west, which will give us just a little bit of cloud tomorrow. Here's how the system's map shapes up for tomorrow. A mix of sun and cloud expected with the high just to our south. Arctic air will be with us tomorrow, though, and a disturbance is starting to form just off to the west, and I think by tomorrow night it will be pushing into the northeast of the U.S., and by Thursday we should see some snow from this, probably 5 or 10 centimeters at the most, and it looks like rain right now for most of Nova Scotia, where temperatures will get up to possibly 4 and 5 degrees right now. So it looks very mild for Thursday. We continue cold overnight, though. Just a few clouds out there, chance of a flurry where those winds blow onshore. The good news, as I mentioned, are that the winds will taper off overnight. Minus 16 to minus 31 for overnight lows, so very chilly. And then tomorrow, the sunshine returns. We do have the chance of flurries, especially through Nova Scotia and through Prince Edward Island. Light winds from the west during the day at about 20, 30 kilometers an hour, so really not much in the way of factoring in the winds. Minus 7 to minus 18 for daytime highs, so another chilly day. But temperatures start to warm up. In fact, by Wednesday, we're looking at sunshine at minus 5. We're up to the freezing mark on Thursday, and as I mentioned, probably up above the freezing mark in many areas. Snow for New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. We're looking at rain for Nova Scotia. And then Friday, we start to clear out, sunshine, and minus 4. Nance.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. A new medical study was launched in the Maritimes today, which may have national significance, and in all likelihood, a lot of parents will be watching closely. The focus, whooping cough. Immunization programs against whooping cough have been available for decades, but how effective are they? It's hoped a new study being conducted in Halifax will answer that question.
We're going to be asking questions of families where there was cases of whooping cough to see what happened with the sickness in the children, to see about their immunization history. We're going to be comparing that with children who didn't have whooping cough, and we're going to try and see why are we getting these outbreaks and what can we do better to prevent them in future.
The study is being conducted by the Nova Scotia Public Health Unit, IWK Hospital, and the Laboratory Centre for Disease Control in Ottawa. And we'll be watching for the results. Coming up next on Live at 5, what brings two international sports heroes to the Maritimes? We'll find out in just a couple of minutes. And straight ahead, Yvonne Colbert dips into the On Your Side mailbag when Live at 5 returns.